Welcome to Chamber Chats, a weekly series by the West Monroe West Ouachita Chamber of Commerce highlighting our valued members. As always, find out more about the Chamber and our members online at westmonroechamber.org. Special thanks to our Season 2 title sponsor, Ouachita Valley Federal Credit Union. And now, this week's episode of Chamber Chats.
Hey everyone, it's Chris with the West Monroe Chamber. I'm so excited to have my friend Jessica Torricelli. You may see her face every morning show on KNOE. Jessica, so exciting to have you on Chamber Chats. Thanks for joining us.
This is fun. Thank you for having me.
I get to interview you for once.
I know. This never happens. It's almost weird.
Well, tell us a little bit about, people might not know just the logistics of getting on the air in the morning. Yeah. My goodness, you get to work early. So tell us a day in the life of Jessica.
I get up in the morning around 2 a.m. and I get to work hopefully by 3. That's the goal. Doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, depending on breaking news, which we can see come in overnight. And so I know if I have to get in earlier. And my first thing is making sure that my producer is okay, because 2 hours is a long time for our producer to do by himself.
Right.
So.
And so y'all go on 6 a.m. Or no, 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
And so, that's a lot of content to produce every single day. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And the goal is to never reuse the exact same thing from the night before. Of course, we want as many local stories in there as possible, which it's hard to get in the morning when no one's awake at 2 a.m. to, give you a comment on something. But we try to change things as much as we can so the viewer gets something dynamic and different.
Sure.
And 2 hours is a good amount to fill when you've got that mentality.
One of the things that I look forward to every morning, and I wake up with you, regardless if I'm coming as a guest or not, I wake up with you on my TV screen every morning, is you always have an interesting guest or someone to feature. How do people get involved? Many people might not know. They can come and showcase their nonprofit or what's happening in the community. Talk a little bit about that.
And we do love having people. It's wonderful. So all you have to do is go to KNOE.com, and if you hit the Good Morning Arklamis tab on the left side of your screen, guest request form will show up at the top. Fill it out. It'll come to me and the rest of our team, and I will start scheduling you, and that process will begin once my news director approves it. And it's open for nonprofits who are hosting a fundraiser or any business that's hosting a free event.
Right.
So we want to make
open to the whole public.
Right. It's got to be accessible. I mean, we love talking about businesses and highlighting them, but whatever they're doing has to be accessible for the average Joe.
Sure. So tell us a little bit. I mean, that's a high octane job, and you got to be caffeinated to do it. But tell us what brings you joy every day.
Ooh, okay. Well, actually, the other day, this was on Wednesday morning. So I do love doing the 2 Cars, 2 Winners campaign for St. Francis. The work they do at that hospital is amazing, especially when you get to see it firsthand, because, you always think of what they're doing and their healthcare workers are amazing. But when you see the reality of that, you see a picture of a preemie that was 2 pounds and now this kid is almost as tall as me and he's 6. That's wild. I interviewed a wonderful family. I met some triplets that are now 6 on Wednesday.
Right.
And I think that was one of the highlights, because you get to talk to people and you make a connection and you realize that, people see you on the show, and that translates to in everyday life. People actually wake up with you and they welcome you into the living room. You're part of their family for 2 hours. And I think that's the most special part. And I love that. I love being able to make somebody smile for just a second.
Does it make you happy when people stop you in the grocery store and say hello?
It does, and it depends. I mean, sometimes I don't always look,
the most
best.
Perfect.
Sometimes I look just like you guys. I'm in athletic clothes, running around, just trying to get from point A to point B. Don't have the makeup on or anything. So sometimes I might look a little scary. Just let me keep going, maybe, if that's the case. But I do like making people smile. That is what I want to do every day if possible. I mean, we got to do the serious stuff too, but question of the day is our time where we get to do that.
Yeah. And I think that's really fun, because you're involving the public in a way that they can talk back to you through Facebook and kind of interact a little bit. Yeah. What do you think some misconceptions about the news is?
I think that people maybe think that we're too national or too around the region, but we really do try to, any national story we have or regional story, we try as much as possible to relate it to Louisiana, maybe even through just one statistic.
Right.
Even at the end of that story, if we can encapsulate it and say, well, this is what Mississippi is doing, but Louisiana, this is the situation here. Right. That's important. And I try to tell my producer that every single day. If you can find a way to tie it into Northeast Louisiana, that's a winner,
Yeah.
but Louisiana as a whole
Right.
is a requirement.
Yeah.
That's a requirement. There's
Yeah.
no other way around it.
A national story, but
Yeah.
a local impact.
Has to.
Yeah.
Has to be. Otherwise, it's not going in the show.
Yeah. So tell us anything else that you'd like to share. Like, what's a fun moment that you've had recently with delivering the news? I saw we were on the news the other day, and you were sharing about your parrot attack almost.
That's exactly where my mind went. So I love Zoo Buddies. Lisa Taylor is one of the best human beings on the planet.
Yeah.
And I've been doing those segments actually out at the zoo since the pandemic because we couldn't do them in studio. Right. Yeah. And so the best part is we got to go outside and get into the exhibits, which people don't always realize, but I'm roughing it. Like, we're in the exhibit too.
Right.
So sometimes you'll see us in the leggings and the polo just because it is really right. You know, it's you got to traverse the environment for sure. Sometimes there's rocks. You never know what you're going to engage with, but I don't like birds. I'm afraid of birds. And we were doing a macaw. Yeah. That's the bird that we were doing for our Zoo Buddy segment. And another bird that was waiting in the back, waiting for his turn, Sunny, a sun conure. He said, nope, I'm going to make my debut now. He flew and latched onto me, onto my jacket. And I'm over here like, okay, it's time to go, buddy. And I thought he would go to Lisa. And eventually he did with some nudging. But I was shocked for the rest of that segment. I was just kind of bamboozled. Like, this really happened to me.
That's right. Hard to not react because you're filming the whole time too, right?
Yeah, and you know, we don't want to redo it. You know, we want to make everything as authentic as possible. So we don't do multiple takes for Zoo Buddies. And actually, I don't do multiple takes for anything, really. I want to,
so it's
even
live,
if
it's in person, it's real.
If I mess up, I don't care. I'm a normal human being, just like you and everybody else. Yeah. So I don't want to redo anything because then it's not accurate. You know, it's not how it went the first time. Right.
It's not authentic to the moment. Yeah.
No, but you know, I just hope people give us grace. I think that's the one thing that maybe is a misconception. Sometimes people think that we're supposed to be so perfect. Yeah. And we try as much as we can.
Right.
But we're normal.
All the places and wake up at 2 a.m. and deliver the news. Yeah,
so,
every day.
You know, I mean, we try what we can, and sometimes maybe a piece of hair is out of place, but I'll tell you, every single day my priority is making sure that our stories are correct, accurate, and the best that they can be, and then have that local impact. So to be honest with you, I do my hair and makeup within 10 minutes. I don't spend as much time as, you know, I would love to, because you got to make sure the show is correct. You got to read through everything, and you know, you're there to catch and help. And we write too. We write stories in our 2-hour show. We don't just sit there. We don't just read, you know, as many people think.
So you're part of the entire process.
From beginning, and I even edit.
Every day.
I'll help edit our show if it needs. You know, it's a team effort. We have a very small team in the morning. Yeah. And so we all kind of have to pitch in, and there's a lot up until 4:40. Yeah. That's the 10 minutes I get to straighten what I can and get on out.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, giving us a little look behind the scenes at your life and the news segments. It's so exciting every day to see what's happening, and thank you for bringing that authentic look.
Thank you for the work you do, because people don't always see what you guys do, and that's really important. So if you see him, give him a high five or a hug or a pat on the back, something like that. Every one of his staff.
You're awesome. Thanks, Jessica. Join us next time on another edition of Chamber Chats, where we salute local celebrities and our chamber partners. Have a great day.